Welcome back. You're watching our rolling coverage on the mega crackdown on the Popular Front of India that began sometime early this morning in the wee hours, continues even now. The pushback and resistance from the Popular Front also continues as we've seen protests being witnessed across the country. But what exactly has transpired as far as this investigation goes, the modus operandi of how the PFI was actually operating, CNN News 18 has accessed those details for you. This is how they got money into the country, illegal one of that. There was a deep-rooted conspiracy to cover up the source of funds. That is what they were trying to do. How did they do that? They got money transfers from abroad. They used expats to send money to their families back home here so that they would not raise a suspicion. What they did was the small amounts of money transfers were sent to the PFI affiliates. By small, I mean that as less as 5 rupees. Donation slips of those were found at these PFI offices. They were seized and recovered by the Enforcement Directorate, by the NIA. The crowdfunding paperwork was already kept ready at the PFI offices. So crowdfunding is the ruse that they used to get this money into the country. There was a clever attempt by the PFI to camouflage the real funding route. That is how they got money via illegal means, via Hawala transactions into the country. Then they used those funds to foment trouble, to fund communal instances, communal clashes and riots that have taken place across the country. And Sushant Sareen, who continues to be with us, do you think, Sushant Sareen, this really is, the agencies, the government going for the jugular as far as the PFI is concerned, because their top leadership has been put behind bars now? It's not state or district level functionaries.
Exactly. So I think this particular effort is as serious as an effort can be made, because in the past, whatever little crackdown we have seen on the PFI has mostly been through leaked information, maybe a couple of arrests here and there, a lot of insinuation, a lot of allegation, but no substantial action. This time, however, we've seen that virtually the entire book has been thrown at the PFI. And obviously, and to be fair to the government, I don't think they wanted to do something in a knee-jerk manner, that just because there's a public clamor for action against the PFI or its involvement is being found or is being suspected in a number of incidents, that the government starts moving against them without having adequate evidence, without having prepared, adequate ground to take action against them, lest they be accused of, hounding a quote-unquote minority group, a party with such a fancy name like Social Democratic Party of India, stuff like that. Even the Popular Front of India, the very name of the organization, does not betray the fact that this is a highly radicalized communal organization, a very militarized organization, an organization which has long been suspected of not only using violence against people it cannot countenance, but also involvement in terrorism, or at least links with some terrorist organizations, or its members making a beeline for international terrorist organizations. So if the government has moved in the way it has moved today, then it obviously means that they have been keeping these guys under a very close watch. They have been collecting necessary evidence against these fellows. And it's only after they have collected it all that they've decided to move in. Although, of course, the FIR says that there was an imminent danger of some terrorist attacks by these groups. But I suspect that there is a lot more information which the government has than they are letting out right now. And perhaps when the charge sheets are filed, when the cases are, when these guys are finally booked, that is when we will see, we will get some idea of the kind of evidence that has actually been collected against the PFI.
Absolutely. As and when these arrested accused are produced in court, and when we get details of what really is the case that the NIA, that the Enforcement Directorate is building against these top leadership of the PFI, is when we'll get a sense of where this entire case and crackdown is headed. But nonetheless, what transpired today, since this morning, since the wee hours, is a pretty landmark development in itself. This is the first time that a coordinated effort like this across 13 states, across multiple agencies, has taken place. And my colleagues Pranchu and Preeti join us from on ground, getting us the very latest as far as the crackdown is concerned. Preeti is reporting from Guwahati, and Preeti, we do know that the PFI's office this morning was sealed by the NIA after raids were conducted there. What's the situation like now? What's transpiring?
Yes, first I have to give you the latest update that earlier this day we said that there were 9 people who were detained, but now as of now we have been informed that 10 people have been arrested of PFI, and the names are Aminul Haq, Abdul Razak, Rabiul Hussain, Nazrul Islam, Rafiqul Islam, Abu Sama, Farhad Ali, and Khaliur Rahman, Mufti Bazlul Karim. And these are the people who have been arrested of PFI from several parts in Assam. And I have to tell you that this morning the NIA raided the PFI office in Guwahati, and they have found such certain incriminating documents, and they have already sealed the place. Not just that, they also they arrested this person called Aminul Haq from his residence, from where they also seized his laptop, his mobile phone, and certain incriminating documents have also been taken away from his place, and NIA is now doing their own work. But yes, must have to say that this whole arrest and basically the raid on PFI has also seen a lot of protest statewide today in Assam, and basically we have seen in Nagar Bera there have been a very violent protest as well, because they have we have seen a face-off between the protesters and the police. They have demanded all their members, all the PFI members, to be released without any condition. But we have to also remember that when it comes to Assam, when the incidents like Gorukhuti, the incidents like Batadrawa, and also the recent modules of jihadis that has been busted, all of these connections were found, certain connections were suspected to be of PFI as well. And
yeah, which is perhaps what led to the crackdown and the raids this morning in Guwahati and the sealing of the premises of the PFI office. Now, as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, multiple locations were raided this morning, and Pranchu, at least about 8 arrests have been made. But the PFI connection to Uttar Pradesh is an old one. In fact, as far as the Hathras case goes, several PFI members were also charge-sheeted in 2021.
Yes. Yes, that's right. In fact, you know, the PFI trying to infiltrate in Uttar Pradesh, trying to get in new recruits from Uttar Pradesh, that is not a new story. One thing which has been, of course, you know, established beyond doubt is that PFI now is in a stage where it is not just limited primarily to the South Indian states, but it is trying to have a pan-India presence. And that's the reason why, despite having a bare minimum skeletal structure in Uttar Pradesh, 8 people have been arrested, raids have been conducted across at least 5 districts, including Western Uttar Pradesh, Ghaziabad, Eastern Uttar Pradesh, town of Varanasi, and then, of course, in this Awadh and the Indo-Nepal border region, you have Lucknow, Barabanki, Bahraich, and all these places from where these arrests have been made. Now, as far as this Hathras case is concerned, yes, we all know, we have spoken a lot about the case of Kerala journalist, but along with him, there were 3 other PFI members who were arrested, and the journalist was primarily arrested because, you know, the charge against him was that he was conniving with the PFI activists. So, as far as PFI's activities are concerned, they have been isolated instances in Uttar Pradesh.
Right.
Remember also during the CA and RC protests way back in 2019, PFI activists were arrested. In fact, one person, Wasim, who has been picked up from Lucknow today, was also the one who was arrested in 2019 for anti-NRC protests and has been in jail for at least a couple of months.
Right, so the PFI and its members in Uttar Pradesh have been on the radar of multiple agencies for a long time now, which has culminated into this crackdown that we see today, not just in Uttar Pradesh, but across the country. And that, of course, remains our top focus story on CNN News 18 here all through prime time as well. Do stay on with us. We're slipping into a quick break, but we'll be back in just 2 minutes with more news and updates.